The first function that we'll look at is the MailMerge function. And the first thing that happens is the MailMerge function will get the data from the active spreadsheet. So lines 18, 19, and 20 basically say, hey, go find the active spreadsheet that we opened, look for the sheet called merge data, and use the data found in the headers and the data in each row to do what we need to do in this script. The second step is that the MailMerge looks at the configuration that needs to be done. So it configures the Google Doc template that we're using to generate each form letter, essentially. And then it basically needs a place to store the Google Docs, and that's done by the folder ID. And it will also look to the email sent and the last name as important information within the app script. Step 3 is really looping the data through each row of data. So it's looking at the row of data and going through and performing the steps to really see if it needs to create the document for a new person. And it does that in this part of the function where it checks the document link. So it's essentially says, look, if there's a document link in here, then don't create the document. If the document link is blank, then you're going to create the document and you're going to copy the name here with the person's last name and put it in the folder that it needs to go into. Step 5 is where it really does all the magic, and essentially what happens is this little line of code here that says replace placeholder, new doc replacements, it's looking up at this constant here called replacements and says, hey, look at each of the columns and put the data from the column in the row. So if the person's first name is James, you're going to see that in the spreadsheet for that row. And it fills in the Google Doc that we created through the template and puts that information in there. So this is really where the magic happens in step 5. It goes through and looks at each of the different columns and rows and puts the data where it needs to go appropriately. And then essentially the last thing that happens is the spreadsheet, after creating the personalized document, the script gets the web link or the URL from the Google Doc and pastes it into the document link. And that really allows us to keep track of who has a document and who doesn't. And if we need to recreate the document, we can just delete that link and the document will get created next time we use the MailMerge function. It also will set a value in the email column that says no, which means we haven't created the email yet, or we haven't run the email function. And it will also leave the PDF value blank to let us know that we haven't created the PDF yet. So that is essentially the 6 steps in the function that is outlined in the MailMerge function. And that's probably the meat and potatoes of what gets created from this part of the script.